A second day game in just 3 days for RCB, and the first half of it has followed almost a very similar script. Once again, they threatened to go well beyond the score that they've ended up on. It's 189 for 9 for RCB after having been asked to bat by Rajasthan Royals at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. On Visit Saudi presents ESPNcricinfo T20 Timeout. Tom Moody and Wasim Jaffer here with us to dissect that first innings. Now, Tom, 156 for 3 in 14.5 at the point Glenn Maxwell gets out, but a total which falls right where you and Wasim had predicted this game to go. So put that innings in perspective.
Well, I think it really sums up RCB as a batting unit. They're hugely dependent on some world-class players in Kohli, Faf-Duplessis and Glenn Maxwell. Kohli didn't fire today, but certainly the other two did, and they batted unbelievably well. And it surprised me, actually, because I thought the surface was going to be a lot more challenging than it was. It seemed to be, certainly a 200 wicket there at one stage, or beyond 200. But what it is highlighted is that once those key players are out and that the other end is opened up to the rest of the batting order, it falls away very quickly and they lose their way. And I think they only got, I think it was around about 7 and over for the last 5 overs, yes. Which after laying a platform like that, you'd have to look at it from a coach's point of view and think, wow, we are, probably 15, if not 20 runs short of what we should have been after that platform.
And it is 2 games in a row, Wasim. It was 44 for 4 in the last 5 when RCB played Punjab, and today 33 for 5 in the last 5 overs of the innings with only 3 boundaries in the last 5 overs. How did you view that innings and especially that finish?
Well, I think I can't agree more to what Tom said. They are heavily dependent on that 3 that he's mentioned, Faf, Virat and Glenn Maxwell, and Dinesh Karthik for some extent, but he's not coming good like he did last year. So the other guys, the Lomror, Suyash Prabhu those guys need to step up. I think that'll take a lot of burden away from those 3 guys. But up until then, it's heavily dependent on those 3 guys. And today as well, they would easily look like at 15 over mark that they would probably reach 210, 220. But they fell short quite a lot. But interesting to see because they've been able to defend scores, courtesy Siraj and the other bowlers, whether they would be able to do that because again, Rajasthan Royals is heavily dependent on their top 3 as well. So if they get rid of that, it can be interesting. But other than that, they'll rue the fact that they are 20, 30 runs short, in the first inning mark.
That RCB did get where they did, which is 189, was down largely to Glenn Maxwell and Faf-Duplessis. Let's focus on Glenn Maxwell, who finished 77 of 44. And Wasim, he continues what has been an enjoyable start for him at Chinnaswamy. All games he's played, he's looked dangerous, he's taken attacks to the cleaners, and he is proving to be such a vital asset for RCB.
He is. When he gets going, it's very hard to bowl at him. And I think the wicket that RCB, obviously that Chinnaswamy, suits him. It looks like it suits him. The dimension of the ground, I think it suits him. It comes onto the bat nicely, and he can hit the ball to, very different positions, and that can make it difficult. And he plays spin as well. Again, he hits to areas where that reverse sweeps and the kind of hits that he he makes it difficult for the bowlers, and I think he's enjoying batting at Chinnaswamy and playing for RCB. But it's hit and miss again. When he comes good, he's very, very dangerous. But he plays some high risk cricket. So it's interesting to see how he goes on in the whole tournament.
RCB, Tom, availing the benefit of giving a clear role and a clear license, clearly, to someone who is such a dangerous customer.
I think he's always had a license. I think he just feels that he's found a franchise that he feels comfortable, and they have, I suppose, made it a lot easier for him to be himself. I think there's a few things in Glenn Maxwell's life that changed as well. I think, I don't think he has got married, about a few months ago now, but he's recently got married, so his personal life is settled. He's happy, he's more relaxed, and he's a year or two older than what he was before. Obviously, Wasim experienced the Glenn Maxwell when he was at Punjab, and that's probably why he's sort of saying, let's see how the rest of the season unfolds with how he goes. But he's a major threat, and you can see why he goes highly sought after in the auction, is because he is a very dangerous player, and he's very hard to bowl to, and he's a three-dimensional cricketer. He's a gun fielder, and he can offer some overs. So RCB are reaping the benefits of embracing Maxwell, where other franchises haven't.
Anything we can say on Faf du Plessis, who's got another knock? Can we say anything that we haven't already in all these games this season?
Oh, look, he's just, it's just wonderful to see someone that is an ultimate professional, that's still at the peak of his powers, at the twilight of his career, still dominating this format of the game. And I just love watching him bat, because he does it with such control, and there is obviously high risk in what he does, but there seems to be an element of control the way he does it. Where you watch Maxwell, there's high risk to Maxwell, but it's a little bit more streakier, where with Faf, it'd be interesting to get Wasim's view on this. Faf seems to have the same risk, but it seems to be a lot more measured and controlled.
Wasim?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before as well. He doesn't look like, Faf is hitting the ball hard enough, but then it goes 10, 15 rows back, whereas the other guys, it looks like they're making more effort, and you feel sometimes that you can get them out, but very Faf, when he hits it, it stays hit, and that what's it again makes it difficult. And he can play both the roles so well. With Maxi, you understand that he's going to come hard. If you bowl two, three, four dot balls, you can sense there's a shot coming. But with Faf, you don't know. He still plays cricketing shots, but in between that, he plays a shot which is not expected, and it goes 10, 15 rows back. And again, he plays spin well. So very hard to bowl to, and like Tom said, it looks so calm. It doesn't feel like, he's hitting you, but he plays 25, 30 balls and he's batting 50, 60, and he does that so regularly. So he can play both the fiddle so well. It's hard to bowl to, both these guys when they're batting like this.
Wasim, that's what a six-pack does for you, effortless sixes.
Well, you still need to have the skill. There are a lot of players in the IPL who got six or probably eight packs, but they haven't got that skill.
Yeah, but they're Instagram 8-packs. This is the Faf's got the genuine one. He's got the real deal, one that he's worked
Yeah,
for.
definitely,
all right.
and so much experience as well.
Yes. Enough on the aesthetics for now. That run out though of Faf du Plessis, we speak about moments of brilliance that can dictate it. Felt early in the innings, but especially considering this RCB batting lineup and everything we've discussed about it, that moment from Yash Jha could well be the turning point of the game.
Yeah, brilliant bit of fielding. Great to see a young guy out there having an impact in the field. He clearly doesn't bowl. He's a top order player and a dynamic player at that. But it's important in your playing 11 that you do have not only your junior players but your senior players all contributing in the field, and that was a good bit of fielding, great balance, great composure, and really potentially a match-turning moment for Rajasthan, because if Faf kept going there, he was in line for three figures.
Yeah, and RCB were in line for something much higher than 189. Just on the Rajasthan bowling, Wasim, we obviously built up Yuzvendra Chahal's return to Chinnaswamy and also addressed the fact that Rajasthan Royals go into Chinnaswamy with 5 bowling options. You saw a different usage of Yuzvendra Chahal. What did you make of how they used him, and also overall thoughts on Chahal's return?
I think he bowled really well. The way he bowled 2 overs up until probably 10 or 11 overs, and then they saved the last two for 17 and 19. It can be high risk and high reward as well. I mean, if Faf and Maxwell were batting, you don't know what would have happened. They would have easily gone past 220 plus. But yeah, the other guys obviously, don't play like that. So, like I said, it can be high risk and high reward as well because he knows how to bowl at this ground and what kind of length or even line to bowl to. And I think he bowled really, really well.
We've touched upon that slight increase in the usage of spin at the death earlier through this season, Tom. Were you impressed by how Rajasthan decided to use him, and also how he did deliver in those tough overs?
It didn't surprise me using Chahal in that way, because he knows that ground inside out, and he's got a clear strategy in the way he goes about his business. And you can guarantee that RCB would have talked about it pre-game around, the lack of pace, wide of off stump, forcing the batter to hit to that deep cover fielder. But it's all well and good talking about it, but then, trying to have the skill set and the ability to combat it is another thing. He was incredibly impressive. 1 for 28 off 4, particularly at the times that he bowled, was during the very challenging times. Look, he to me, I suppose, makes that 5-bowler combination work. We talked about that pre-game as it's potentially a high risk, but there's a lot of experience there. But Chahal and Ashwin, for that matter, it gives them the flexibility where they've got a spinner that can bowl quite deep, depending on the situation, and enables them to, if Bolt's swinging it early, he can then bowl 3 in the power play, not worrying about the fact they've got to keep 2 of his up their sleeve.
Now, when the second innings rolls out, Wasim, the other wrist spinner comes into play. Wanindu Hasaranga has quite the record against the Rajasthan Royals skipper. He's dismissed Sanju Samson 6 times in 7 innings. We do know Sanju Samson doesn't recalibrate his approach much, but is there perhaps a lesson for Sanju Samson to take from Joss Butler and how he copes with Rashid Khan when he takes on Hasaranga right now?
Yeah, I think so. But looking at this ground, probably Sanju might fancy going after Hasaranga. First of all, you need to pick him well. We have seen in the past that he struggled to pick the googlies. But if it's in his arc, you can more than be sure that Sanju will take him on. But there's no harm playing out Hasaranga, because other than that, there's not much threat in RCB bowling, leaving Mohammad Siraj out. But they failed to chase a modest score in the last game, which they should have won. So I'm sure Sanju will be sensible if it comes to that stage where he can play Hasaranga out and target the other bowlers.
Right, the innings is already underway. RCB have used that impact sub. Faf du Plessis, on expected notes, has walked out. Harshal Patel has come in to join the bowling effort. So let's get quick predictions in. Tom, you reckon RCB are defending this?
No, I think this is Rajasthan's to win. I think RCB have fallen short of what they should have got in their batting effort.
Wasim, nailed the first innings call. They got 189, you said 190. Who's winning this one?
Well, I'm backing Rajasthan as well. They failed, like I said, they failed to win the last one. They should have won that. I don't expect them to repeat the same mistake again. So I think Rajasthan should chase this easily.
Right, consensus with Rajasthan Royals then. Let's see how the innings pans out. Be sure to stay up to date with the second innings and all its ebbs and flows on the ESPNcricinfo mobile app. Back again with these two gentlemen as soon as this game ends, and where we'll also build up to Kolkata Knight Riders against Chennai Super Kings on Visit Saudi presents ESPNcricinfo T20 Timeout. Be sure to join us then. See you.